Everybody, it's my turn for the reviewer tag. Yes, I'm still my morning get up, working out get up. I wanted to do a few videos before going out and doing that. I got the reviewer tag today. My boy Renee, just wanted to shout him out. Renee, I'm going to put a link down below of his channel. Go check him out. Great reviewer. Actually tagged me on this reviewer tag thing. I was like, he sent me a message, he's like, I tagged you, man. I'm like, what is he talking about? But I did check out his video, great video. And the idea was by Lupe, another fragrance reviewer, of course, that started this reviewer tag. It's, I believe, a dozen questions asking me or every reviewer out there the questions. So I'm going to answer those questions. So I want to thank Renee first and foremost for tagging me. Secondly, I want to thank Lupe for the idea. You know, it's great to see our reviewers actually thinking outside the box and start doing new ideas. It's great to see, and I see the whole community actually kind of embrace this reviewer tag idea. So I got to put my 2 cents in. I'm looking down here because my MacBook's right here. I wrote down those questions. So let's take a look at them. So this is getting to know your fragrance reviewer a little more. So you're going to get to know me a little more. A lot of you know my story, my background. But you'll know a little more from me if you're interested in that. So let's take a look at the 12 questions. I'm going to have some water first. Question number 1. What is your earliest fragrance memory? It's going back in time. Sometimes a time lapse here. My earliest fragrance memory has to be, most of us probably have done this when you're super young. Smelling dad's cologne collection or mom's fragrance collection, or that's your fragrance memory. It comes from a family member, and for me, that's where it came from. My dad, I'll be honest with you guys, was not the connoisseur of fragrances. He didn't have any high-end stuff. He wasn't wearing, you know, Fahrenheit or anything like that back in the 80s, 90s. No, he was wearing drugstore stuff. My dad had a small collection from, I think it was from my mom. Mom used to buy him cologne, I think, for Christmas. And he had, I remember, my earliest fragrance collection, or my memory, was my dad, and always getting like hugs from him, hanging out with my dad, and he smelled like Stetson. I remember that Stetson bottle, man. The original Stetson, you know, the little gold cap, and it was like a clear bottle, I think, and it had a guy with a lasso going, woo! That's my earliest fragrance memory of Stetson. My dad reeking of Stetson. So yeah, that's my earliest fragrance memory. For Christmas as a family, you know, when I was starting to be like a young man, my mom always bought us cologne once we started, you know, being young men. I remember, you know, Tommy Hilfiger in the early 90s was huge, and I'd get like a bottle of, you know, I'd get my Tommy jeans and shirts and stuff for Christmas, and then I'd get the Tommy bottle, Tommy. I got that. I got Swiss Army in my my little Christmas sock one year. Swiss Army cologne, she got me that. I'm trying to remember all my earliest fragrances, but yeah, Stetson was my first manly fragrance, you know. After that, where I really got into fragrances, you guys know this is my brother. My brother went to university in Waterloo. And he'd come back from the big city and come to our small city, of course, after, you know, for Christmas and stuff like that, just to come say hi to the family and stuff. And he'd start getting a sweet cologne collection. You know, he had Boss Bottled Le Male and shit like that. And that's where I first started going, shit, man, that stuff smells good. I wanna be like a pimp like my brother. And I was like a little youngin', but that's where I got the ideas from. Designer, real designer fragrances. It wasn't from my dad, it was actually from my brother going to university. So that's my fragrance memory, I would say, my earliest one. Question number 2, what was your first fragrance purchase? The one that I purchased with my own money, I believe, was Le Male. I'm trying to remember, this was a long time ago, it was at least 10 years or more, when I first purchased a fragrance with my own money. I'm pretty sure it was Le Male. I'm trying to remember, but it was either Boss Bottled or Le Male. I think I bought like my second bottle of Boss Bottled and Le Male at the same time, or something like that. It was either one or the two. The reason why I'm confused is because, again, for Christmas and stuff like that, for birthday presents and stuff, my mom used to get me cologne that I liked for my brother, like Boss Bottle. I think I got that for Christmas or my birthday or something. And I'm trying to remember which cologne I actually purchased first. And I think it was Le Male. I think I was like super impressed with Le Male when my brother brought it, and I wanted a bottle, and I bought it. So that was I would say my first fragrance purchase, and that was high school, man. I was like, oof, that was a long time ago. Question 3. What was your first niche purchase? Well, my first niche purchase was on YouTube. You guys saw it actually. My first niche purchase was in 2009. It was Creed. Like most of us, our first niche, our first delving into niches, usually Creed. It was a blind buy also. It was Himalaya. I remember it fondly. I first started my YouTube channel. I was blind buying lots of designer fragrances. If you go see my early channel, I was getting, I was doing hauls of 10, 15 bottles, 20, 40 bottles. I think I had one Christmas like a 50 bottle haul, and there was some niche in there. I think Himalaya and Green Irish Tweed was in my first one in December 2009. I'm trying to remember. I remember buying Himalaya blindly just because I thought the name was awesome and the bottle was silver and I wanted it. I didn't really look into the notes or anything. Like I wanted base notes and stuff, acting like I knew what I was doing, but I blind bought a bottle of Creed. And I blind bought Green Irish Tweed for my brother for Christmas. I'm like, that's gonna be great for him. And then I think it was like 2 weeks later, I was like, why did I get him Green Irish Tweed? It sounds much better than Himalaya. So I bought Green Irish Tweed like right after. It was quite a funny concept. I'm like, I'm not giving him the best bottle. And come full circle, and Himalaya's, it's an okay fragrance. It is my first niche purchase, but Green Irish Tweed is like, really in my heart, is my first real niche. And that was a blind buy also, but a hell of a blind buy. Green Irish Tweed is like my first real niche fragrance that it comes to my heart. That was my niche purchase. So Himalaya, but really Green Irish Tweed. 2 weeks later. 2 Creeds. Next question. What was your first niche purchase? What was your first blind buy? My first blind buy, I first started blind buying when I came on YouTube. You guys, really the thing with YouTube and my channel is you can see me blossoming as a fragrance reviewer. You go back in 2009, my first fragrance haul, I think it was September 2009, I bought like 12 bottles. I don't know the specific of the bottles that I purchased, but I'm assuming there's probably a dozen bottles in that that haul, and I'm assuming half of those were blind buys. Because for me, when I first got onto YouTube, I knew all the high-end stuff, the stuff that the small town has. You go to Shoppers, Drug Mart, Sears, whatever, and you sniff them out. But all the other stuff that's been around for a while, or the stores don't sell very much of, I went online, and I think it was a Fragrance Net. I think it was Fragrance Net that I bought like 14 bottles, and it was crazy. I should go back to that video and actually let you guys know which ones were actual blind buys, but I'm sure there was at least 6 or 7 of those that were blind buys that I never smelled before. I just went on designers. I was like, yeah, this is popular, this is popular, this is for the channel. I wanted to review more. So I'll say that's my first blind buy. It's on YouTube. Next question, question 5, my best blind buy. Many of you know, if you've been with me since 2009 on YouTube, I blind buy a lot. Recently now, I'm not blind buying as much. I'm actually sampling because I've been burnt a lot of niche purchases blind buying. My best blind buy, on top of my head, I've done quite a bit of great blind buys. Tonka Imperial comes to mind. I bought it after a Miguel Hero review. I really wanted the high-end Guerlain's, and the way that he explained that fragrance, I blind bought it, and I love it. It's one of my best. I blind buy Amouages all the time, Creeds. Blind bought Aventus, that's a good one. It's not bad. I blind bought, as far as Amouage goes, blind bought Juby. That's a good one. Jubilation 25. What did I write here? I wrote Tonka Imperial and my best blind buy, Xerjoff Richwood. Yeah, that was an expensive blind buy and it came out really well. But most of my purchases, I would say a good 75% of the bottles that you see in my reviews and my hauls and stuff like that, most of them are blind buys. And anything that scores a 10 is a good one. So, Tonka Imperial, I'm going to go with that one. What was your worst blind buy? Too many name. Jeez. A bad blind buy is good for reviewing sakes. It's good for a review on the channel and it's good for collection purposes. My tastes are really broad. You guys know me, I like almost anything. I get a little more excited about certain things, but you know, like really nice leather-based fragrances, tobacco-based or incense-based and stuff like that. But I'm really broad as far as my nose goes, and any really bad blind buys. White Oud comes to mind by Montale. Very much a girly fragrance. I'm not girly. Yeah, White Oud was bad. I did a lot of blind buying from like really low-end designers just for reviewing sakes, like Liz Claiborne and stuff like that. So Curve Kicks, I'm thinking about that. Curve Kicks, you know, that's a shitty blind buy. I've never smelled it before. I just bought it for reviewing sakes and it was a really shitty fragrance. I'm never going to wear it again. It was a waste of, what, $15 that I spent, plus $5 shipping or whatever. That's a bad blind buy. I did a lot of those for reviewing sakes. So a lot of blind buys. I wouldn't say anything's like the worst blind buy ever that I get angry about it or, you know, upset or I'm never going to wear it. A lot of fragrances I will wear because my taste is so broad, and I will wear it for reviewing sake, so it's not really a waste. So worst blind buy, that's my answer. I don't really regret much. 7. What are your favorite fragrance notes? I like dark, heavy notes. You're gonna, you know, incense, pine, leather, tobacco, myrrh, resinous amber. What did I write here? Incense, leather, tobacco, vanilla. Yeah, I like my sweet notes. Vanilla. I like a boozy vanilla, by the way. You know, boozy notes also, like rum and stuff like that, really piques my interest. Anything that has amber is a very complex note. I really like amber because of that. Myrrh. I like honey. As far as summer notes, fig, plum, coconut, really good note. I'm going all over the place here. Mint. Oh, mint. Beautiful note. Sadly, most fragrances doesn't last, but yeah, those are the notes that I prefer. Mostly, you know, for my taste, you're going for heavy incense, you know, pine needles, anything that's smoky, leathery, tobacco, resinous amber. I love that challenging stuff like that. Oh man, beautiful. But then on the other hand, you know, for summer, you know, I like, you know, stuff that's different from your lemons and oranges. I want, you know, fig, plum, give me mint instead of those. I really like to challenge myself, be a little more unique, different. Those are the kind of notes that I really prefer. Favorite fragrance house? That's a tough question. Favorite fragrance house? I like, if I had to pick one, Amouage comes to mind just because of the complexity of the fragrances. And most of the stuff they do release in the men's section is absolutely gorgeous. I love a lot of them. I wear them quite a bit. And then I do wear a lot of Creeds also, but I'd have to go with Guerlain. Just a classic fragrance house in Guerlain. Their notes, you know, they're one of the earliest fragrance houses that we have in the history, the rich history of Guerlain. I like their designer stuff, you know, Bidou, Guerlain Vetiver, Guerlain, stuff like that. But then you go on the other side of the coin with their Tonka Imperial, Iris Ganache. It goes on, and their feminines also, of course, the rich history with them. Really, Guerlain would be the house, my favorite fragrance house by far, actually. What fragrance best describes me? That's a tough one. I kind of want to say, you know, my favorite fragrance, which I'd have to go with Jubilation 25. The reason why it describes me the best, I think, is because it's more of my signature scent now. It stands out, but it doesn't scream. It's one of those, I really feel like, as my personality is that I'm not, you know, huge and flashy. You know, as my YouTube channel suggests, I'm not into, you know, having this huge elaborate introduction with, you know, all this computer know-how, or, you know, try to be flashy. That's not me. Jubilation 25 does the same thing. It's not flashy at all. It's very complex, it's deep, and you kind of have to peel the layers to see the greatness into Jubilation 25. And I kind of feel, as far as describing myself, you kind of have to get to know me a little more and peel the layers and really see the greatness into myself. So I really think that Jubilation 25 really does invoke who I am as a person. If I had to bottle myself, it would have to be Jubilation 25. What is your favorite fragrance of all time? A lot of people are going to think that it's going to be Le Male, but to be honest, it would have to be Jubilation 25. My favorite fragrance of all time is the perfection in that fragrance. To me, again, fragrance is a very personal thing. I know a lot of people won't agree with me, but for me, my favorite fragrance of all time has to be Jubilation 25, just because of the perfection of that fragrance. It just hits all the check marks. Like Le Male has, of course, that sentimental value to me, but my favorite fragrance of all time has to be Jubilation. It's almost perfection in a bottle. Yeah, that's all I can say. It's the king. Next is, what is your fragrance profile? Yeah, that was an interesting question. I know Renee tackled it pretty well. What I wrote here for my fragrance profile would have to be, a fragrance has to be, I pretty much like everything, but I really like fragrances that are, again, I prefer fragrances that are unique, dark, they're different, they're a little exotic, they have to have depth. Depth is huge for me. If you got a little more layers, the more interested I'm in. If the first wearing isn't the same with the second wearing, you got my attention. If it's a little warmer outside or a little cooler outside and the fragrance kind of changes that way, you got my attention. If a fragrance is challenging, a challenging fragrance is really something that is in my fragrance profile. I can think of a couple companies. Naso Mato has challenging fragrances that really do pique my interest. Amouage, of course, very challenging fragrances. I'm trying to think of also a couple more brands, but basically I need some depth, I need some layers, and really being unique and different, and really challenging me is something I strive for. As far as my fragrance profile, I'm very versatile. As he knows, I really like a lot of stuff. I like spices, I like woods, I like citruses. If you do it well, I like it. As you guys know from my reviews, you know, stuff from like Bigarade Concentré, right, to Black Afghano, to Black Tourmaline, to Jubilation 25, to, you know, easy wearing fragrances like Millésime Impérial, Green Irish Tweed, to designers like La Nuit de l'Homme, Le Male, Ziara. You know, I'm all over the place. So my fragrance profile is very large. It's not very specific at all, but my preference is something challenging, and it has to have depth. I really like something that challenges my nose. When I first smell something, I go, ooh, this one's gonna be a good one. That means I know it's got depth. It's gonna challenge me. So when you see that face, or that when I say something like that, that means that's a fragrance that I want to smell. 12. The last question. What are your fragrance resolutions going forward? fragrance resolutions, my resolution would have to be keep learning. And that's been my motto since day one, with everything in life. You know, you don't, you know, even if, you know, I'm self-tagged the guru, I'm humble enough to say that I still have tons to learn in this fragrance journey. I don't know everything. I hardly scratch the surface as far as knowing enough about this fragrance game of ours. So I keep striving to keep learning, and I have been since day one. And you know, I keep reading and I keep watching reviews and I keep going online and checking out you know the Luca Turins of the world and learning from them, to perfumiers, actual noses, you know, the people that actually buy those fragrances, the reviewers themselves, even watching myself as a reviewer and trying to better myself as a reviewer. So keep learning. That's always been my resolution, always will be in life, even with fragrances, is keeping on. So apparently I have to tag somebody at the end of my video. I'm gonna tag the queen of our fragrance community, Katie Puckrick, see if she can do one. I know she's very busy as far as her schedule goes, so I know I'll have to be patient and let her know that I've done this video and tagged her. And she's very, very gracious, and she'll probably most likely do a video because that's the way she is. A great person. So I'm tagging her because I think a lot of people would be interested in hearing a little bit of her story also. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed my little story. My 12 questions have been answered. Thank you, Lupe, for the great idea. Thank you, Renee, for tagging me. And Katie, I will let you know that you have been tagged and you have 12 questions to answer now. So thanks, YouTube. Have a good one.